Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we are reviewing this commuter e-bike, but it has a lot of smart features. It's from Luckeep. It's called the X2, and we have a lot of things to get over. Still interested? Well, let's get into it. When it came to the assembly of this bike, the brake rotor is not attached to the front wheel, and so you have to attach it, but they don't give you a star key to remove those bolts so that you can put the brake rotor on. I ended up having to take mine to a local bike shop to get it done, so just keep that in mind if you end up purchasing this bike. Now, it will come to you as a Class 3, which means we should get up to 28 miles an hour via this half-twist throttle right here, this torque sensor, and our 5 levels of pedal assist. This bike weighs 70 pounds, but has a payload capacity of 330 pounds. Right now, it sells for $14.99 and comes with a 1-year warranty. The X2 comes in a step over or step through model. Both of these models will accommodate riders from 5'3" to 6'4". It also comes in 2 colors. You can get it in a gray or this white that I have here. Luckeep says that the X2 can go 40 miles using throttle only or 80 miles using pedal assist. Now that's with a very light rider, keeping it in pedal assist number 1 on flat land with no wind. As you can see, this is Chicago. We have wind behind us. I weigh 225 pounds. I'm gonna have camera equipment on me. I'm gonna be running this thing as hard as I can, as fast as I can, and we're gonna be dealing with Chicago wind. The X2 has a 48 volt, 750 watt brushless rear hub motor. It has a peak of 1200 watts and 80 Newton meters of torque. It has an 8-speed transmission, a Shimano Tourney TX derailleur. It does have a derailleur guard, but I had to remove mine because it was bent, and it has an 8-speed trigger shifter. For stopping power, you have the Luckeep branded 2-piston hydraulic brakes and 180 millimeter rotors. The front forks are hydraulic. It has 60 millimeters of travel. You can preload it and you can lock them out. The tires are by Chow Yang. They are 27.5 by 2.4 inches. They have a very nice street pattern on them, and they are puncture resistant. The battery is a 48 volt, 20 amp hours with 960 watt hours of power. You can get additional batteries to go on this bike. You can get a 15 amp hour battery, a 20 amp hour battery, or a 25 amp hour battery, making this a dual battery commuter bike. All the batteries have a UL certification of 2771, and this entire bike has a 2849 UL certification. The rating is IPX4, so that means that you can ride this bike in a light rain. Now, if you want to charge it, well, it comes with a charger. It's a 3 amp charger, and it takes about 6.5 to 7 hours to charge this single battery version. You can leave the battery in the bike and just charge it right here through this port, or you can take the battery out and charge it in a different location. Now, when it comes to removing the battery, it comes with 2 keys. It's also going to come with the remote. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But you're going to put the key in, and you're going to turn it. It pops the battery out just a little bit, and then there is a lever. You're going to turn it a little bit more. Make sure your tire is turned so you have room to get it out. There is a battery indicator on here so you can see what your charge level is when it's not connected to the bike. And to put it back in, you just put it bottom in first. Click it in, and you're good to go. There is a port on the lower part of the frame, and you will not need that unless you add the additional battery. And if you do, well, that's where it's going to plug into the bike. Additional features include plastic fenders, you have aluminum pedals, a quick release seat post, a padded seat, a rear rack that can hold up to 55 pounds, and an adjustable stem. A minute ago, I talked about the remote that came with this bike. This is actually part of the security system that this bike comes with standard. Now this right here, that means the bike is unlocked. Hit this button, and that means it is locked, which if somebody decides to mess with your bike and just move it around, well, it's going to start making that noise and warn them that they shouldn't leave, that they shouldn't mess with it. And now I just set off the alarm. That's pretty loud. And that is definitely going to hopefully keep thieves from messing with your bike. Let's just go ahead and hit the remote. And we are good to go, and the bike is unlocked. Here is a close-up view of your key fob. Right there, that's the one that activates the power. This is your alarm if you want it to go off immediately. This unlocks the bike and this locks it. Let's talk size and fit. Now, when it comes to your shorter riders, there are numbers here on the front of the stem, and this actually shows it at its lowest level right here. That's what it shows, but realistically, it looks like you can take it all the way down to here. Oh, that's pretty low. Let's pull it back up to where I need it to be. And then when it comes to the area here in your handlebars, well, it doesn't raise up and down, but it does have this adjustable stem that comes forward and back. I am 5'9" with a 32-inch inseam, and this is what I'm going to look like riding this bike. Cockpit Operations. On your left-hand side, you have this grip, and this grip is kind of like a medium type rubber. It doesn't feel bad. You have a front brake lever right here. You have a phone holder with a USB port right underneath it, and then you have two control panels. This first one controls the lights, turn signals, and horn. This second one controls the bike and the display. To start the bike up first, we need to make sure that it is ready for us. Hit that button twice and we are good to go. Let's go ahead and turn the bike on by hitting the power button. It brings the screen right on up. Take a look at this beautiful screen built into the stem. It is full color. Right up here you have your time. Here you have your miles per hour. It's also going to tell you what pedal assist level you're in. Right here tells you when your cruise control is on and shows you how many watts is going to the bike. Here is your battery indicator. Not only does it give you the bar, but it tells you your percentage. This is your trip distance, overall miles on the bike. To get different readouts, you're just going to hit your power button real quick, and it's going to switch in between average speed, max speed, trip time, calories burned, CO2, trees saved, and then it goes back to trip distance. To hop into the advanced features of the screen, you're just going to hold your plus and minus button down, and then this takes you to your screen where here you can change your trip and reset it. You hit the down button, it gives you your miles per hour to where you can switch to units, your screen brightness, auto power off. You can set how long it takes for it to turn off. Cruise control, yep, we definitely want that on today. Auto headlight and the speed limit. As you can see, the speed limit is already set to its highest setting. From there, you're going to go to where you can set the time. You can put a password on this bike if you want, so that not only do you need a remote to get it going, but you need a password. And then this is where your system info is. And then right here is where you're going to connect this bike to the phone app. Hit it one more time, takes you to exit, hit the power button, and boom, we're back to the main screen. This bike has a couple of lights on the front. You can hold this button down and it turns on like the smaller exterior light. It also dims your screen, or you can hit this button right here and turn the big headlight on. This bike has turn signals. Right here is your left turn signal. Right here is your right turn signal, and it also has a horn. Oh, that thing is loud. Hold this plus button again and it turns off the exterior light. Hit this button and it turns off the main light. When the headlight is turned on, the back tail light lights up, and then whenever you hit the brakes, it becomes much brighter. I have to tell you that these don't seem to be bright at all. When the headlight is off, your brake light and turn signals still work. On your right hand side, you have your half twist throttle right here, your rear brake lever, and then this is your gear shifter. You click this to go down in gear, and then you use your index finger to go up in gear. Let's go ahead and talk about the phone app that we have right here. As you can see, it has the bike on here. You can control Bluetooth. It shows your battery indicator. Here's your headlights. You can control more here from your speed limit or your miles per hour, your pedal assist level, headlamps, auto power, speed limit, screen brightness. I mean, you can control a lot of stuff from here. This shows like total mileage from all sorts of trips. You can record your rides. This is your ranking list. You can check your fault information and other stuff right here if you hit the flags. I don't have any groups that I am part of. This is kind of like the social media part of the app. This is your information right here, and this tracks your ride. We will be using this app to see how accurate it is during today's ride. Now it is time for my favorite part, where we're going to take the Luckeep X2 out on the road and see how it does. We are out here on the 606 trail here in Chicago. We are in pedal assist 0, so that means the bike is not providing any assist to our pedaling. We've kicked it down to like gear 5. It actually feels pretty good riding this bike without any power. We're going up a hill right now. How does that feel? Let me kick it down a little bit. And yeah, it still feels fine. And we are tracking at 11.2 miles an hour. As you can see over here on the app, it is tracking our ride as well and also giving the speed. Let's go ahead and test out the torque sensor. I'm going to go ahead and put it into pedal assist number 3. Go ahead and kick it up a couple gears, and just by riding it normally without any like real effort, we are at 15 miles an hour. But as a torque sensor, I'm going to apply more pressure to the crank, and we are launching forward. This is a good torque sensor. Oh, we're already at 23, and I've got it into gear 8. All right, so we know the torque sensor works, and it was smooth, so I can tell it's a good one. Let's check out the throttle. I want to see if it is dictated by the pedal assist level. I have it in pedal assist level 1, and we're just gonna give it some throttle and see if it limits itself to how fast it goes. I don't feel like it is. I mean, we've already up to 15, 16 miles an hour, so I guess we're just gonna go. Throttle has us going 27 miles an hour, but we are running into the wind here in Chicago. Cruise control has kicked on, so now we are just cruising along. All right, let's go ahead and hit the brakes and slow things down. Let's go ahead and check out our pedal assist levels. I have it in pedal assist level 1 right now, and we're just moving along. Now, since this is a torque sensor, you can increase your speed in any pedal assist level that you're on. But if you're just riding around, you can tell a difference in the comfort and how much assist that it gives. So right now we have it in gear 6, and we are doing 12 miles an hour in pedal assist 1 very easily and comfortably. Let's go ahead and put it into pedal assist number 2, and now we're comfortably cruising at 15 miles an hour. Pedal assist number 3, 17 miles an hour is pretty comfortable. Pedal assist number 4, I don't feel much of a difference between those two. I do have it in the highest gear that it can be in, and we're comfortably cruising at 19 miles an hour. Put it into pedal assist number 5. Not much of a difference, but we're cruising at 20 miles an hour. My first impression with this bike is it is super silent. As I was going through all those speed tests and stuff, I didn't hear the motor. These tires are super quiet, and that is a good thing. Also, the seat feels pretty comfortable. I'm not totally sold on these straight handlebars. Let's go ahead and do our off-road test. And this is where we take the bike off-road. We're gonna kick it down a couple gears and see how it handles. Now, this is not the kind of bike that you would take on a mountain bike trail or a single track. But if you had to take it off-road for a little bit, like cutting through like a yard or like a park like I'm doing right now, well, yeah, it'll do it. Front suspension's going to work, but it is holding up rather nicely. All right, let's do the jump. Oh, gosh. The only thing I heard rattling was my equipment in the back. And since it's 92 degrees today, well, I surely didn't want to rock a backpack, so I put everything in my Rock Bros bag that goes on the rear rack. It is time for the hill climb. Here is where we're going to start off by doing throttle only to see if we're going to make it up the hill. I do have it in pedal assist level 5, not that that matters with this, but when I do this kind of stuff, I like to give it every chance it can have to make it up the hill. Let's see how it does. Now, I know this bike doesn't seem to have too much torque on it, kind of in the lower levels, but we might make it up this hill. Now, this hill is between 15, some sections are 15 and other sections are 20% grade, and we only made it this far. Let's go ahead and try pedaling and see if that works. Now we're going to try pedaling it. I have the in low gear, gear 3. And when you do that, well, yeah, well, you're just going to be able to make it up the hill, no problem. Just make sure that you're in a lower gear. So that way, as you're climbing up the hill, you're not putting too much effort on your legs. All right, let's say we were already rolling Let's see if it's going to make it up the hill. Oh, now we got a better start. Let's see if it's going to make it. Yeah, so as long as you don't start at the bottom of the hill, you're going to be good to go. If you're rolling into it, you will make it up the hill. Now, you're not going to make it up fast, but you'll make it. I was feeling a clicking while I was riding, so I came back here past the bike lane, and they showed me that the outside bearings of both of these pedals are bad. So they are clicky. Now, since I'm sure that I can contact the company and get new pedals, but I'm in the middle of this review, so we're just going to switch them out with these. Oh, these are, but at least they won't click while I'm doing the review. All right, guys, this is why it is great to have a relationship with your local bike shop. Since those pedals are messed up, they gave me these, we put them on the bike, and now we can continue on with the review. Once I get done with the review, I'm going to contact Luckeep and just let them know that I need new pedals. We have made it out to Lakeshore Trail. It is a beautiful day. It's a hot day. It's 92 degrees with a heat index in the higher 90s. But right here behind me is the Chicago skyline. And when we take a look at how far we've gone, Strava shows that we've gone 18.53 miles, while the app and the display shows that we've gone 14.4 miles, which if you take the fact that I had gone 4.5 miles before I started the app, well, it is pretty accurate. Now I'm taking a look at the battery. We're at 78% battery power. So I think this thing is doing really well when it comes to conserving battery power. I've been riding in pedal assist number 3 and cruising at about 15 to 20 miles an hour as I rode through the city. Let's go ahead and do some other testing and see how it does. Some bikes, they have USB ports, and those USB ports only give you like a trickle charge. But when I started off this review, my phone had 61% battery power in it. When I did that mileage check, well, it had 87% battery power. So I went ahead and disconnected, as I know it's going to make it through the rest of the review. So now we know that this won't just trickle charge your phone, it'll charge it up. Now, during these 18 miles, using this torque sensor, you know, they seem to be like different levels of torque sensors on how like nice they are and how well they perform. This one is definitely one of the better ones, because it has been super smooth the entire time. I'm not too sure about these handlebars though, I have to tell you. With them being straight, I mean, yeah, they're totally fine, but I think for a bike like this, they need to be like angled back just a little, which is something you could easily change or not change. It's really just a personal preference by the way that the bike is when you get it stock. I mean, for me, it's fine, but I'm thinking if somebody was shorter, well, they're going to be leaning awful forward to get to these handlebars. So that's just, you know, it's just an observation. And now that we got these pedals replaced, this bike, now it's like super quiet. You can tell it's a quality bike. Overall, I'm absolutely enjoying this ride. Now, when we're talking about this control pad over here on the left-hand side, all right, so they advertise it has turn signals, and it does. But when I pulled into the bike shop, apparently I had my turn signal on, and it's easy to bump. Nothing tells you that it's going. You have no idea that your turn signal is going. So I don't know how long I was riding around turning left. And that's one of those things that, because of that, I will not use these turn signals. If you can't tell when they're on and when they're off, and there's no indication, well, I would rather not use them than ride around town with one going. Stuff like that drives me nuts. Maybe if they update this version, they can figure out some way to integrate it into the display or make it have some kind of noise when it's going. If they did that, I think a lot more people would be more receptive in using these turn signals. It is time for the sand test. To be honest, I have no idea how this bike is gonna do. So let's go ahead and put it into pedal assist 5 so that I can help it pedaling if we need to. Let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, no, it doesn't. The tires are too small. But I mean, it wants to go, but we're just not making it. We just keep sinking. Yeah, we're not making it anywhere. Oh, 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 oh. Look at that. It wants to go, but oh gosh, it's not gonna. Sand test is a fail. To be honest, I didn't think it would do great anyways. I don't know, but the gearing, everything, it's like this motor is just, ooh, I don't know, it's not happy. All right, let's go ahead and call that. Yeah, this bike will make it to the beach, but it won't make it through the beach. So there you go, now we know. I have decided to turn into the wind for a while. That way, whenever we start to get low on battery, I can have the wind pushing my back, making it to where I can go farther. You know, that is something that will affect how far your bike can go, is wind. And Chicago wind is no joke. I'm super glad to have the wind today though, because if not, I would just be a giant sweat bubble. Not saying that I'm not sweating, but it would be even worse if we didn't have a breeze going. I am one of those guys who have to use reading glasses, and seeing this display, everything is pretty tiny, and I'm having a hard time reading the battery percentage levels. And when it comes to this display, I can see everything, right? So even in bright sunlight, you can still see everything that the display has to tell you. Although some things are so small that I have a hard time reading it. Thank you. Well, the horn seems to work pretty good. You know, it seems loud, but I'm glad that it gets people's attention. All right, guys, it is time to do the brake test. I'm gonna get this bike going as fast as I can. Since it doesn't come in a class 2 mode, we're gonna get it up to at least 27 miles an hour. Let's see how it does. Oh, we were at 30 miles an hour when we hit the brakes, and it stopped right at 60 feet. Oh, these tires are great for like riding in the city on super smooth, but man, now I'm fighting the wind right now. So I don't know if the wind's pushing me, but that seems to be an awful long stopping. But I have to tell you, totally in control. Everything felt good, everything felt safe, but this wind is just killing it. Like, can you see this tree in front of me? How it's just, look at these trees. All right, and now we got the wind to my back. Let's do this one more time. I'm gonna crank it out. We were at 29 miles and stopped at 57 feet. Alrighty then. Right after that brake test, I felt my seat move back. This is why you guys should always have tools with you so that you can fix things on the fly when you're out and about riding. And doing that, I moved the seat forward a little bit, and man, this is riding super nice. You know, always take time to make those adjustments with your bike, because I know before I was talking about, well, you know, if you had some swift back handlebars, well, me moving that seat forward, I mean, we're good. I went ahead and turned around. It looks like we are at 44% battery power. I'm not really sure, to be honest. I can't really see it. It's so tiny. Let's see if we pull over, if I can read it. Matter of fact, let's just go ahead and do a mileage check. It shows that we are at 44% battery power. The display shows we've gone 30.6 miles. Strava is also showing that we've gone 30.69 miles. So the display and Strava are correct. I have pulled up the app and it shows that we're at, well, it stopped at 14 miles. Huh. All right, so somehow we lost that ability when it connected. It's still showing where we're at, and it looks like it's still tracked the trip. It just has the mileage wrong. Yeah, the trip has been tracked, but it has the mileage wrong. So you don't have to worry about it. Your display is good to go. The app, not so much, unless I did something wrong. Who knows? There is Chicago right there. As you can see, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Love the Chicago skyline. It's one of the best things about doing these reviews in this city, that I am just constantly out in this area checking things out. Normally, if I'm on a commuter bike and we're at 30 miles, I am panicking if I am this far from home, because I think we're still like 10 miles from home at this point. So we've just been taking it easy though. We've been riding in pedal assist number 3. Oh, let's put it back down to 3 because I had it in 5 for the brake test. And it just seems that this bike is super smooth. These tires are super slick, making it to where this bike runs really, really well. This is definitely going to make it in my top 2024 bikes when it comes to commuters. This one's up there. Normally, when a bike has a half twist throttle like this one does, I find myself using it more and more than I would a thumb throttle. But for some reason, this bike is just so easy to pedal and so smooth that the only time I've been using the throttle is whenever I take off. All right, guys, we now have the wind to my back, although it doesn't sound like it. I got throttle going. It's on cruise control. So if you put the throttle all the way back and then cruise hits in, it will just keep climbing on cruise until it hits its max speed, which is what it's done. And we're cruising at 30 miles an hour on cruise control, baby. Oh, this thing is fast. And it's so smooth. I keep saying smooth, guys, but it is. It is. It's just a pleasure to ride. I can tell that Luckeep took some serious attention to detail when they were putting this bike together. They wanted to make sure this thing was going to run and ride and perform well, and it does. This bike coasts extremely well. I haven't pedaled since we went over the top of that hill, and we are still cruising at 24 miles an hour. No cruise control is on or anything. This is just the bike rolling on its own. It's things like that make these bikes go farther than a cadence sensor would, or something with like bigger tires or bigger and wider tires. Yeah, I like it. Taking a look at what do we have? 31%, 32% battery power left. We probably have about 6-7 miles to get home, and I'm not panicking at all. And yes, we will be fighting the wind. Now we have it in pedal assist level 3. I am 3.3 miles away from home at this moment. So once we start getting closer to the house, I'm going to start experimenting with some different things. I just don't want to do it from here and then, end up having to ride this bike back without any battery. Although this bike rides pretty easy without battery power. I am curious though, do we have throttle? Do we have cruise? Yep, cruise is on. We are cruising at 18 miles an hour. That's a good thing. Can we take our hands off of it, or is it nope? It's going to give you the death wobble. I'm letting the cruise control just push this bike along, and it is still silent. That motor makes no noise at all. Neither do these tires. We have made it to the end of the 606 trail. And it still shows that we have 22% battery power left. We've gone 41.2 miles. Strava shows that we've gone 41.04 miles. So they are super close. I'm going to have to get back on the 606 because this thing is not done. Although it's funny, we're just sitting here and I'm watching it and it's just dropping. It went from 22 to 21. I wonder if it'll drop just down to 20 before we take off. Oh, it did. So the battery is just draining super quick now. Interesting. That is, let's see if it drops down to 19. I don't think we're going to get much left out of this bike now. Yeah, boom, 19. Wow, okay, we're not even moving. So let's put a little bit more mileage on this bike and see how far it goes. If you did notice that the battery indicator went to yellow once it dropped below, I think once it hit 20%. You know what I feel is a little crazy is that now that we're riding the bike, it's not dropping down. It's not dropping down at all. So it was dropping like every 30 seconds in battery level, and now that we're riding, it's holding at 19. Now, if you take a look, I don't know if you guys can see this, but on the display, it's showing how much power that it is putting out. And then when we start pedaling, well, the cruise is on. Oh, and now when we start pedaling, well, it just drops down to a quarter or half of what we were using, and we're still at 19%. I am not pedaling at all. I'm just using throttle only. We have it on cruise control at 17 miles an hour, and it's still not dropping in battery percentage. That just blows my mind. All right, guys, this is where things get weird. I just did 2 miles on throttle only, and we're still at 19%. I think like maybe when it stops, like then the battery starts to like recalibrate or whatever, and notice that it's at a lower level. I'm not sure yet. Let's pull here in the shade. Let's see what it changes to. It's already dropped down to 18. I'm trying to figure out what kind of battery management system this thing is. You know, it's like when you're giving the bike power and it's using power, it lasts forever. And then when we go ahead and stop and rest, you get to just watch it start dropping. Well, we are down to 16% battery power. I'm going to go ahead and put the cruise on again and just see how it's going to end up doing. At this low battery percentage, it's not able to hold the 26 miles an hour that we were going, especially since we went up a couple of hills, but it is holding 15 miles an hour. We have dropped down to 10%, and now the fastest this can keep us going on cruise control is 14.9 miles an hour. So you're still really close to 15. We just hit 5% on the battery. It is now red. It's only 1 bar. I mean, I'm wondering, should I even turn around and try to go back and see what's working? Oh, we got 4%. Let's see if it drops to 3 while we're just sitting here. And if so, I'm just going to head home. Yep. Okay. 3%. We're going to take it home from here. This has been impressive, guys. Let's see if we still have throttle. And we do. Of course we do. Holy cow, this thing is climbing. Let's pull over here for a second. I want to see if I can get it to drop to 1%. And then we'll see. There it is, 1%. I wonder if it'll drop to 0 while I'm here. I'm only a couple blocks from the house. And it has dropped to 0. But we still have throttle, folks. This, what? And it's climbing. It is climbing. We have 0 battery percentage. Yet we have climbed to 15 miles an hour on throttle only. Wow. Like, what's it going to take for this bike to stop working? And now I'm just riding away from the house. Now I'm just curious. What's it going to take to kill this battery? I have 0 battery percentage, and I am on cruise at 16.5 miles an hour. At this point, I'm afraid to not use power. Like, I'm afraid to stop, because if I do, it might just say it's totally done. And I think I'm a mile away now from the house again. Oh, I got issues. Okay, I'm trying to climb this hill of throttle only, and it's finally dying. It's on 0. It's been on 0 for at least a good mile. Kick it down in gear here and see if we have any power going to us at this point. I mean, we shouldn't have had power going a long time ago, but I feel the throttle. Oh my gosh. It finally got to the point to where cruise control was only making it go 9 miles an hour. At that point, nobody likes to ride at 9 miles an hour, at least I don't. So I'm going to call it. And right there, we're at 47.7 miles. Insane. I'm actually tired. This bike went for a long distance. I was on a long ride today. Now the display showed 47.7 miles. Strava shows 47.43. The app, it kind of fell apart, and I think it was stuck at like 31 miles, but it did track the entire ride. Everything seemed to work great with this bike, but I want to talk about these turn signals, right? There's no way I would use these turn signals since you can't figure out if they're going or if they're not going. To me, they're just useless on this bike, and I wouldn't use them. But everything else, oh my gosh. This bike is definitely going to make it in my top 2 or 3 of my best commuter bikes for 2024. This thing rode incredibly smooth. It went for an incredibly long time. You know, they have the additional battery that you can buy for this thing. There is no way. I am so glad that I did not have the additional battery on this bike because I would still be on the road. No doubt in my mind about that. I like the white paint job because it's like a matted paint job. The seat's good. The grips, I might change them out eventually. I don't think it's something that needs to be done right now. The display, I think the percentages and stuff like that is too small for somebody my age who has issues reading tiny things. But besides that, this bike rocks. I don't know what to tell you. It stops, well, not on a dime. It slid for a while, but it felt so in control that you didn't even feel like you were sliding that long for it to stop. So, I mean, everything about this bike was super nice. Luckeep did a great job with the X2, right? You guys saw it. I was fighting into the wind and it still went this distance. I mean, what do you think it would do just like at a slower speed with no wind? This bike is going to go forever. And it doesn't even matter because it's super comfortable. So even if it does go for a long time, well, you're not going to care because you can just ride it. Add a suspension seat post to this. Yeah, you're not getting off this bike. There's no way. I think some people might like it though if it did have some bent back handlebars. I mean, I got everything finally adjusted to the way that I wanted it, and it was totally fine. But I think maybe some like older people would find it more comfortable. I say older people. I mean, I'm 55, but I think that some people might find it more comfortable if they just bowed back just a little bit, which is actually an easy switch if you decide to do that with this bike. I don't know. I don't see any reason why you wouldn't want to buy this bike. The fact that it has that security system and that alarm, a lot of people have to buy that extra and try to like find a place to hide it. This is built into the bike. So even though the app doesn't do everything when it comes to the tracking of the bike or like keeping you with on how far your distance is, well, the display does. And I think you're good there. So, I mean, if you guys are interested in this, I'm going to leave a link down below. And if I have a discount code, I'm going to throw that down below as well. But if you're looking for a commuter bike and you want something with a built-in alarm that can go a freakishly long distance, and if you want even more distance, you add that second battery, well, this is going to be a pretty good choice. So I want to thank you for watching. And until I see you again, enjoy the ride.